Have you ever felt like your brain just has way too many tabs open? You sit down to do one thing and suddenly you're juggling a dozen? Well, you're not alone. And get this, it's not a moral failing. Today, we're diving deep into the actual neuroscience of peak focus to figure out why our brains get so easily hijacked and what we can really do about it.
Seriously, we've all been there, right? You sit down, you're totally determined to finally work on that big project, and then, bam, within minutes, your mind is somewhere else entirely. It's so frustrating. And it's really easy to start thinking, ugh, what is wrong with me? But what if I told you it's not actually your fault?
The latest neuroscience is crystal clear on this. That constant struggle for focus, it isn't some personal weakness. It is a biological tug of war happening between competing networks right inside your head. And today, we're going to learn exactly how to win that battle.
Okay, so to win this battle, we first have to know what we're even fighting for. So, what exactly is peak focus when you look at it from a scientific perspective? It's definitely not just about gritting your teeth and trying harder. It's about getting into a very specific state of mind.
That's right. It's a measurable biological state. You can think of it like shifting your brain into a higher gear, where everything just clicks. And the best part? Because it's a biological process, it means we can actually train our brains to shift into this gear more often and to stay there for way longer.
So how do we train our brains to do that? Well, it all starts with understanding the two key networks that are in this constant fight for control over your attention. See, on one side, you've got your deep focus network, which scientists call the task-positive network. This is your brain's full power, get-it-done mode. On the other side, you have your mind-wandering network, or the default mode network. Think of this one as your brain's screensaver. It just kind of wanders around. The whole key to peak focus is keeping that work mode on and the screensaver off. Let's break it down like this. Your prefrontal cortex is basically the CEO of your brain. It decides what's important right now. Your parietal networks, they're the project managers keeping you on task. And your default mode network, the DMN, that's the office daydreamer. To get anything done, you need the CEO and the project managers to be running the show. And this right here, this is a total game changer. Getting into that deep focus state isn't about slamming on the gas pedal harder. It's about quieting the noise. It's about hitting the mute button on your brain's inner daydreamer, that default mode network.
So how in the world do we hit that mute button? Well, it all comes down to the chemical referees inside our brain that are regulating our attention moment by moment. Now, we used to think dopamine was all about pleasure, but we know now it's really about motivation. It's the chemical that tells your brain, hey, pay attention, this thing is important. So the more stable your dopamine levels are, the more stable your focus is going to be.
But here is the trap. Every single notification, every new tab you open, it gives you this tiny little dopamine hit. And your brain, wanting more, switches tasks. But then, the crash comes. And that leaves you feeling tired and totally unfocused. This is the vicious cycle that's absolutely killing our productivity.
Speaking of that cycle, let's just put this to bed once and for all. Multitasking, it's a myth. It's not a real thing. What you're actually doing is called rapid task switching, and it is doing way more harm than you think. Every time you switch from one task to another, you're not just losing time, you're actively damaging the neural circuits you need for deep, concentrated work. Over time, this literally makes it harder and harder to focus on anything. So single tasking isn't just a productivity hack, it's a way to actually rebuild your brain.
And then there's stress. When your brain is flooded with a stress chemical like cortisol, it basically goes into survival mode. It physically makes it impossible to focus on anything other than what it sees as a potential threat. So to even have a chance at peak focus, you have to learn how to manage your stress.
Okay, I know that might all sound a little grim, but this is where the science gets incredibly exciting. Because here's the thing, you can change your brain. It's not fixed. It is remarkably adaptable. So now, we're going to get into how you can actually train it for peak focus.
The magic word here is neuroplasticity, and it is a complete game changer. It means that just like you can go to the gym and build muscle, you can literally rewire your brain for better focus. Focus isn't something you're just born with, it is a skill, and you can build it. And the results are just incredible. With consistent practice, you can physically strengthen your focus circuits. You can measurably increase your attention span. And you can train your brain to become less sensitive to all those distractions. You can literally build a better brain.
So, what is it? What's the single most powerful tool for training your brain and building this incredible capacity for focus?
Well, the answer might just surprise you.
That's right. It's not some fancy app or a new supplement. It's deep sleep. It is the absolute foundation of all of your cognitive performance, and it is completely 100% non-negotiable. Think of it this way. During deep sleep, your brain is like a janitorial crew, coming in to clean up all the metabolic junk from the day and get everything ready for the next one. It resets your ability to focus, it locks in what you've learned, and it repairs those critical neural networks. Without quality sleep, your brain just can't do its job. It really is that simple.
So we've got these really powerful pieces of the puzzle, understanding our brain's networks, regulating our brain chemistry, and making sleep a priority. Now that we know the science, let's talk about why it actually matters. How can this knowledge change your work and even your life?
Well, the benefits are just profound. With true, peak focus, you will learn faster. Your productivity is going to skyrocket, you'll make clearer, better decisions, and because you're finally working with your brain's biology instead of fighting against it, you'll feel less stressed out and way more energized.
So if there's one key takeaway, it's this. Peak focus isn't about motivation or hustle culture. It's about efficiency. It's about creating a brain that works smarter, not harder. It's about getting to a state of almost effortless focus. So you now have the roadmap to a more efficient, more powerful brain. You have the ability to literally rewire your own mind for peak focus, to build the capacity for that deep, meaningful work we all crave. The only question left is, what are you going to build with it?